you should have a good idea already based on the four criteria that we gave you: tax planning, asset protection, ability to sell your business, and complexity and cost to maintain. At what point you're really thinking you need each entity. So let's just give some quick scenarios. So very simply, if you were someone who's just started a small little business, you're not going to be earning much. You might just be doing some things on the weekend. It's not very risky. There's not much happening in that business. It's just a few little bits and pieces. You're more likely just to want to set up a sole trader.
Yep.
That's the easiest one to maintain. You're not going to have any tax disadvantages from doing that. You don't need asset protection. So it's simple. Just do that.
Perfect.
Let's say you and your spouse are doing the same thing, but it earns a little bit more income.
Partnership.
You're both going to be working the business, but you're still not going to be earning that much. You don't need the asset protection. The tax planning isn't really something you need to consider. You might sell it one day, but that's still good. You get the concessions. Partnership.
Yeah, and that's a really good one too. If your spouse, say, has a low income, so one of the partners has a low income, then at least maybe 50% of the partnership income could go into their name legally.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's cost-effective tax planning.
Correct.
Brilliant.
Company. You are a larger business. You want that asset protection. You are thinking about the future plans. You might want to sell half your business to someone to join you later.
That's right. Succession planning.
Yeah, there might be more than one of you going into business together who are unrelated. It's not you and your spouse. It's you and Tim.
Yeah.
You don't want.
I'm a Bombers fan.
Yeah, you don't want to be a partnership. You might not want to be a discretionary trust either. So a company is the best robust entity for that situation.
Yeah. Definitely.
It provides you, it's a little bit complicated, but it's not the most complicated. You can sell your business, you can sell your shares, there's asset protection, and you have tax planning opportunities.
I reckon company is probably easy to get financed too, Dan.
Yeah.
Like from the bank.
I actually think for any business bigger than your very micro business level, a company most of the time will be your option.
Oh, he's come out and said it. Dan thinks the company is the best.
Not the best, because every scenario has a different needs. So the next one along might be you've set up a business. You've got a family.
Yep.
It's you and your spouse. Your spouse might not work, or they might earn less than you. You want that asset protection, or maybe your spouse is about to go have kids.
Well, even more, Dan, if you've got kids approaching 18.
Kids approaching 18.
You might be studying and you're going to support them for several years with their study. They might not have income. Well, guess what? You can legally distribute income to them.
So a discretionary trust is the best option there.
And that's going to outweigh any of the cons that a trust is going to have over a company. Let's say if you're choosing between those two, because that could be several $1,000s per child per year that you use that.
Yeah.
So while those rules are in place, a lot of people are still going to go down that path.
Yeah.
And to me, that's why the trust could be the best.
If you are in that scenario.
It's a very specific scenario, and this is why it depends.
Yeah. So let's
just say the trust is the Rolls Royce if your scenario fits.
Correct. Absolutely.
But then the company could also be the Rolls Royce of entities.
Yeah.
If your scenario fits. It's just not quite as exciting as the trust.
And so there is also other options here that we haven't explored.
Yeah.
And so we won't go into them. We might do a more complicated entity structure. But just as an example,
let's just give one food for thought.
You have a company that runs a business, several shareholders.
Yep.
But the shareholders aren't an individual, Tim. They're a trust.
They're a trust. Wow. That's an interesting way to do it, Dan.
So,
why would you do that?
Well, because then the profit distributions, your dividends, can then be legally split between you and your partners in the same fashion that we just spoke about. So let's say you have this family, your spouse doesn't earn that much income, but you do. So if you get dividends from that company that you own, it now can be legally streamed to your spouse.
It's pretty powerful.
And save you a lot of tax.
Yeah, I really like that one. I like that one a lot. And there's others like that.
There is others like that.
So it depends how complex and what your scenario is. That really works because you've got, like you said, different shareholders. And they may have partners who may have no income.
Yep.
So that's a big one.
That's great.
So that is the power of knowing the entities, knowing how they can combine.
Yep.
Knowing your personal circumstance and then what's going to work best for you. So there is no best entity structure is the answer.
That is the answer.
But for you, there is.
There is a best. That's a good one, Tim. There is a best for you.
There is a best for you. There's no one best. There is a best
for you. Great. All right. Well, I think that's the end of our main topic.